Weeks, I just got back from Bob Avila, his celebration of life. It was in Scottsdale, Arizona. And a lot of you know Bob passed away last year in November, but they had his celebration of life just recently. And I'm really glad I went to it. It was something very, very special. Bob Avila was a great mentor of mine and a great friend, and he was obviously a great mentor and friend to thousands of people all over this country and all over the world, actually. You know, I remember as a little kid looking at Bob in the magazines and watching him and thinking how cool he was and what he did, and I still think he's cool as hell. Even at 49 years old, I still think he's just as cool as what I did as a 21-year-old young man, you know. But I said something to his son, BJ, that at the funeral, at the celebration of life, I said, your dad was a legend, but I said, even in his passing, he's still setting records. And he looked at me and he said, what do you mean? I said, look around this arena. There was about 500 people at this funeral, okay? It was in a big indoor arena, a covered arena at the Kimes Ranch in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I said, look around this arena right now. Look how many world champion horsemen you had world champion horsemen in the halter horse industry, Western pleasure industry, cutting industry, reining industry, cow horse industry, clinicians, me, roping industry, rope horse futurity horses. I said, I have never been to a funeral, and I don't think there's been one, where the level of talent and horsemen that came here to pay respects to your dad is unbelievable. This will never be done again. And BJ looked around and he said, you're right. I was in awe of the level of horsemanship that was in that building that day. You know, there's truly great horsemen in different disciplines. But to get the amount of world-class horsemanship from such different industries, halter horses, Western pleasure, cutting, reining, cow horse, clinician, trail riding, roping, to come and pay respects to Bob Avila on his final resting was unbelievable. I was in awe of it, okay? I don't think we're going to see that again. There might be one other guy, I don't want to say his name in case I jinx him. There'll be one other guy that might come close to having this level of influence. Bob Avila influenced people for over 50 years of training horses. There'll never be another horseman like Bob Avila again that could do it all. He could train a pleasure horse, he could train a halter horse, he could train a roping horse, a reining futurity horse, cutting futurity horse, cow horse, you name it, he could train it. That'll never be done again. We live in such a specialized world now that you're either a cutting trainer or a reining trainer or a cow horse trainer or, you know, now, even if a young trainer said, I want to do it all, I want to train pleasure horses, I want to do halter horses, and I want to do reiners, I don't even think you could make a living doing it like that because nobody would send you a quality horse. The competition is so competitive now that if you don't almost specialize in one particular market niche in the horse industry, you can't hardly survive. Back when Bob started, you had to train every horse to survive. You had to have halter horses, you had to have pleasure horses, you had to have rope horses, you had to have reiners. Now, later in his career, he certainly specialized more in reiners and cow horses and stuff. But for many, many years, he had to do it all. That's why he got such a unique skill set that, in my opinion, will never be replaced again, okay? Because it's just unheard of. So it was a wonderful day. I was glad I was there. I miss Bob tremendously, and I'm sure his wife Dana does, and son BJ, and lots of people all over the world. But he was an icon. He will never be replaced. I don't think he can be replaced. And I just was in awe of, I chuckled when I walked out of that building. I just chuckled to myself, and I said, that's typical Bob Avila. Even in his passing, he's still setting world records. Okay, very special. I hope you enjoyed this video. They played it at his celebration of life.
You know, I don't know if I have any memories that don't have horses in it. You know, my mother showed horses, my dad rodeoed, and when I was as early as I can remember, I had a rope in my hand. I was riding a horse around. If it was my mother's, my father's, I can't remember when I didn't do it. I was born to ride horses.
Once in every generation, someone comes along and turns the world upside down. They raise the bar, reach a level of perfection never before even imagined. And they leave the sport and the world a much different and better place. Bob Avila was that cowboy. His talent with a horse knew no bounds. His versatility was beyond imagination. In an age of specialization, he could win on any horse in any discipline.
My mother used to tell people that my favorite event was the gate opening, because I'd go in anything. If they'd let me go in it, I'd go in it.
Born in 1952 in Northern California, Robert Charles Bob Avila learned a lot about horsemanship at a young age. His father was a trainer and a rodeo cowboy. His mother worked at a Western store and gave riding lessons. Avila embarked on what would be a Hall of Fame career, early on competing in just about every discipline from halter to performance horse. He would win a combined 37 AQHA World Championship and Reserve World Championship titles, solidifying the reputation as one of the most versatile and accomplished horse trainers of all time. When he turned his total attention to reining and rein cow horse, he raised the bar to a height few in the industry ever imagined. His combined career earnings between the two associations totaled nearly $1.5 million. Avila breathed rarefied air. He's among the select few to win the NRHA Futurity and the NRCHA's Snaffle Bit Futurity. Avila won the NRHA Futurity in 1994. His rein cow horse resume is nothing short of phenomenal. Not only did he win 3 Snaffle Bit Futurity titles, but he won them in 3 different decades, 1988, 1999, and 2003. And to ice the cake, he bested his peers in the World's Greatest Horseman competition in 2000 and 2007. Avila is in the exclusive $1 Million Rider Club with the NRCHA, and he was inducted into the NRCHA Hall of Fame in 2006. Avila was just as impactful out of the arena, setting the standard for clinics, training videos, and was always an entertaining and enlightening podcast guest. His legend only grew as he shared his vast and cutting-edge knowledge with the next generation. Avila's oldest and deepest relationship was with AQHA. In addition to the nearly 40 AQHA Reserve and World Championships that he won, he was on the original AQHA Professional Horseman Committee and the first AQHA Professional Horseman of the Year. Avila was an AQHA judge for nearly 20 years and was inducted into the AQHA Hall of Fame in 2020. The name Avila is so big that he appeared on season 3 of Yellowstone as who else? Bob Avila. And after his passing in the final season, Taylor Sheridan dedicated an episode to this trainer's trainer. His training tree includes a strong group of trainers who have changed the industry as well. Trainers like Todd Bergen, Dwayne Latimer, and John Slack. One of his most memorable quotes pretty much sums it all up. Horses have given me everything I have. Quarter horses have helped make me what I am. They have been my life's work, and I owe them everything. Bob Avila was a game changer, a world champion, a Hall of Famer, but most importantly, a cowboy. He's survived by his wife Dana and his son BJ, who's following in his dad's footsteps. You can't replace Bob Avila. All you can do is marvel at what he accomplished in the quarter horse industry and how he reshaped the entire Western world itself. He passed away at the 2024 AQHA World Championship Show on November 9th. He knew how to make an entrance. Turns out he also knew how to make the perfect exit. Bob Avila was 72.